Good evening, folks. I just watched the show Wednesday that some of you might know about the daughter from the Addams family. And I thought I might do a review on it. From what kind of review perspective I have, I am a Christian, personal Christian, so there are things that I know I won't agree with because of how the style is. The Addams Family. I have not watched any of the things. I've heard of it. I might have seen some clips of it, but that's it. I know not even 1% maybe of it. And I am very sensitive to spiritual things and things like witchcraft and so on, where, when I see it, then I can, then kind of like a feeling in me that I shouldn't watch it or shouldn't do it or something like that. Sorry about that. Yeah. Well, starting the show, I've used 3 days from watching it. Starting the show, not a show, the up there, big baby. What do you call it? When you're reviewing and then you try and find the word. Lovely. There was a lot of hints to what I would call bad spiritual stuff, where some of you might know it as witchcraft or as things you just see in movies like ghosts and witches and the glass balls and calling on dead spirits and all those things. In the start, when I watched it, I felt it was getting there where it was getting too much for me to watch, for me to enjoy. Because how they put that it was in there, and I don't want to watch those kind of things. However, they also started coming with so many of those bad spiritual things that one would do, of witchcraft or whatever you want to put name to it, that I was starting to be like, you're just putting it in there to make a big bowl of all sorts of bad spiritual stuff because you can, kind of a thing. It was getting a bit overflown, I find. In the start, the show, it kind of made me think of a mixture of Wizards of Waverly Place, which I've watched all seasons and the movies of. That's again one that one should watch out for, depending on how spiritually one should watch out for. But I also believe that the stronger you stand in your faith and the more sensitive you are spiritually to things, the more you can watch stuff, because your body and your mind will tell you when you need to stop or when something is too far and it's not good for you. I mean, something like Wednesday or the Addams Family in general, I would say for a Christian or anyone I would say anyone in the spiritual world, but technically I believe that we all are in the spiritual world somehow. No, that's what I was going to say. When you're very sensitive to the things, a lot can trigger it. And in the start of the show, there was a lot of things that made me feel like I was walking in glass. Not really 100% sure. But as the show continued, we went quite a bit away from the focus of all the spiritual stuff that she did to solve the crime and all that, to more of a Nancy Drew. Basically, I need to solve this crime and I'll do what it takes, despite whether it's illegal or legal or whatever it is. it's just more on a creepy level that Wednesday had it. So yeah. But yeah, Wednesday I find is a mixture kind of a thing of Wizards of Waverly Place, Nancy Drew, and some other movies and shows that I don't remember the name of right now. I like Wednesday. Because I understand her. I guess that's why I like her. That thing with, sure, there's other people that you can work with, but also you have yourself who you trust the most, and that you just know where your knowledge is, and you see the world different than what society wants you to see. And like the school is trying to make Wednesday see all these things, and you can make friends, you can do all this. Then at the same time, she's like, I can, but what do I need? Oh, I don't need it. Where she then learns to, not she learns to make friends, but more in the salt and pepper version, that friend for her, that you can eat food with salt only or with pepper only, but you can also mix them both together and it'd be good, but it doesn't have to be on each thing and everything. And with her, what do you call it? I guess for her, friends is also that thing with, is some extras with emotions. For you to have friends, you need emotions, and Wednesday is not much for emotions. So it makes sense that also this is, I wouldn't say out of a comfort zone, more of a, her accepting things they want to get what she wants kind of makes her go on the limb for friendship and that. But however much she says that was that she doesn't care about emotions, she does not like emotions, she finds them irrational in that, then at the same time as that, then it's also her figuring out the thing. I mean, after all, she is a human where they have emotions. She is a teenager where she's still figuring things out. The only difference between her and all the others is how her knowledge and how she sees the world, which again I can understand her on, because frankly sometimes I also see the world as people diving into things that society says, and I'm like, nope, why bother? The show was okay on the drama side. The storyline was, there was a lot of skips, but that was mainly the negative spiritual stuff, so I didn't feel that in my head. Also, if you like me and very sensitive spiritually and you have picture memory, I would say watch some clips on YouTube first, which is what I did where I decided to watch the show, because what do you call it? It can be too much for some people. And remember, it's okay if it's too much for you. Not everyone can handle every show and movie, even what do you call it? Even though it's under your age or something like that. The show also had typical drama. There was romance, not just for Wednesday figuring out things, but also for others. There was romance drama. And it wasn't too much that it felt that it became like Wednesday and her teenage love life or something like that. It was subtle but still enjoyable, which I like. Because I'm one that really likes the romantic scenes and so on, and build-ups, but it shouldn't punch you in the face in that sense. And here it was nice, just enough that it didn't overfill the whole thing, that she was still the focus, but still giving a bit of a story for some of the others. And this is not including how her mom and dad is, because sheesh with them. But with how I've understood their family is, not really surprised about the reactions of it. hers to her parents or how they are together time. Um, I was happily surprised about how, and I don't know if this fits with the originals or what, but how her parents were not as insane as I thought they were displayed as. That they weren't just these people that agreed to everything she did, but they actually wanted her to get help and knew that there was things wrong and so on. So I felt that they did their role of parenting quite well compared to the dark world and mindset they live in. So I thought that was quite well. And well, Wednesday as a big system, again, I find they did that well, where there was the darkness in Wednesday and how and her family and how it was, but at the same time, they still hit a typical teenager, a typical older sister, at the same time as not overdoing it how it was boring. Actually, some of the only points that were boring were a few episodes in the middle of the show, and then some scenes, and then I think in the second or third last episode there was a few scenes where I was like, oh come on, where the bad guy goes all crazy kind of thing. I already knew from YouTube shorts that what do you call it, that one of the main male leads that was the bad guy, I didn't remember who it was, so I just knew that one of those was it, and well, I guessed right who it was because of just, it's always the one you so-called least expect, and when you get used to crime shows, then you learn that the one you least expect is the one you sort of expect the most. I mean, the question isn't who did it, but why they did it. Yeah. And I find it fits her personality, where she says that the first boy she kisses, the guy she first falls for kind of thing, is the so-called serial killer thing. So that I find matches her personality. I've seen a lot of interviews, or no, a lot of things with the actress that plays Wednesday, how it is from that, how it mixes in with being Wednesday and so on. And I find she did a really good job in the show. Yeah, they did just enough of romance and, I was going to say comedy, no comedy, romance and drama, but not too much that it was too boring. There was a lot of spiritual things, but those I skipped for my own mental health. In the start, it was getting there where once or twice I considered stopping the show, but I didn't. It worked fine after that. And also because I have watched a lot of shows with spiritual things in, it's also about how it's presented, those spiritual things and that. So some shows I can watch, like Wizards of Waverly Place, while others I can't. And the closer I get to God, the more sensitive I am spiritually. Some shows I can't watch compared to others. Like an example is the City of Bone, Shadowhunters. I used to watch that, and I loved the movie and the show because of how it was. But the more I got in connection with God and the Bible and Jesus, I had to totally drop it, and I haven't watched it since because I could just feel it was not healthy for me spiritually or in my mind. So, I mean, the show Wednesday in itself is not 100% a category or a style of show I would watch. If it would be the perfect style for me, there wouldn't be those spiritual things. What do you call it? Like her hand thingy, the thing, that was cute. That one I don't count as really anything too spiritual. That's more a Frankenstein style, I find. But things like the glass ball with her mum and calling her dead ancestors and that. Those things for me spiritually was too much. And it was like she was just trying to take everything from every dark religion and put it in to help her solve the case, which in real, true life with spiritual things is very, very dangerous. I mean, people underestimate so much dark spiritual things, dark magic or witchcraft or whatever you want to call it, because it is real. It is so real. I mean, we have different witches that actually, I think, what do you call it, came to Jesus and met Jesus, where like stay away from it. A lot of those things where they're like stay away from it because it's not good. I've been there myself, kind of a thing. And we also have stories about movies where witchcraft, they played with it and it resulted in them dealing with curses. I mean, at the end of the day, witchcraft and all those things is just a way to connect with demonic spiritual world and the devil. So when people say, oh, well, it doesn't really work, it does. But like the saying goes, the devil's in the details, and that you should take as literal as you can. That the devil likes tricking people, thinking it doesn't matter too much, and that. The end of the show, I will admit, I actually cried because of how it was touching with her seeing her roommate again and that. Yeah. The end of the show, it was very nice, cry, and yeah. And like I said, I can understand Wednesday and love things, so a lot of what she did in that, I'm not really laughing at or surprised. I'm like yeah. And that was a lot of my feelings. Though through the show, I was quite tense. I could feel in my body because of how that show is. So, overall, if I should give it a amount of stars, I think I'd give it a 8 out of 10 because it wasn't perfect. And like I said, I found there was a bit too much witchcraft, spiritual stuff for that. However, the acting was quite well, the special effects were quite well, and that you could see that it was quality. And things weren't all over the place, so the director did well, the acting was good, and yeah, just it all came together quite well. There was only a few things that peaked a bit above the line, and you could feel the red thread thing, and you felt like you were joining in Wednesday's live and like learning about how she would be as a teenager and that. So yeah, 8 out of 10, I think, 7, 8 out of 10, and not too shabby. And we'll see if I watch the next season. Who knows? But let me know if what you call it, if you want me to do more reviews on things that I watch. Bye bye and sleep tight.